Nigel, real quickly on the defence of Liverpool today, they've conceded 5 goals at Anfield for the first time in a European game. But realistically, we've been talking about Liverpool being inconsistent for a while now. How does Jurgen Klopp fix this? I mean, he's looking on the sidelines. You look at your bench. He brings on a couple of players that obviously are getting older in age and not necessarily the players that you would expect to come on and have an impact in games. But maybe that's what is needed from Liverpool right now, that they rely on the experience rather than chopping and changing with the new players who have come in and it's not really working for them. But the defense is my main concern right here.
The defense isn't good enough. We know what Trent brings. I'm a big fan of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't care what anyone says because I know what he brings. And what people don't realize is Trent was actually a center midfielder first before he was converted to go into this right back role. So I know what he brings. You have to kind of find a way to balance it out to protect Trent. So you need an energetic midfielder who can fill in the gaps because what he brings attacking wise, it's going to be very hard to find that in world football, what he can bring. So what you need to do is counterbalance that by getting a specific defensive midfielder who will cover for Trent and having defenders who will be good enough to cover and read danger earlier. The recruitment has been okay by Liverpool. It hasn't been sensational. That's the problem. And I think for me, when you look at what's going on at Liverpool, it's a massive task. It's a massive rebuild. I played football, so did you, Ian, to be the best. You compare yourself to the best. I love how Michael tried to be super tactical with Real Madrid when that was not the case. Real Madrid were not super tactical. They were very well organized. Their players have played with each other for a long time. And what Real Madrid have, Michael, is tremendous football intelligence. One of the greats has said it, the great Zinedine Zidane himself. Football, 90% you play with your head. That is what Real Madrid do. They look at the players, they analyze, and you talk about Benzema's unorthodox style of playing. No, it's intelligent football players. He's pulling in these areas for a reason and a purpose. That's all Real Madrid do. They don't make it complicated. And at times we've said it, they looked very ordinary. But for me, Liverpool really need to sort out that centre-back position. They need to get solid along the back again. We all know on this pod, you will not win any titles, any trophies without starting from a solid defensive foundation. That is what is massively missing. If I was Liverpool, I would try and be cheeky and go for Kim at Napoli, that centre-back, because he is one of the best centre-backs in world football, I would say right now. It's going to be tough to get him, but he is phenomenal centre-back who is competitive, can win the ball. Him and Van Dijk will be a formidable centre-back pairing. But again, it's just if, buts, and maybes. But the quality of Real Madrid came to the top. And you look at their recruiting, you know, again, we really didn't give Camavinga the love he deserves, and he was sensational. They've still got Tchouaméni. They bought the next Brazilian sensational in Endrick. All Real Madrid really need to add, I would say, is a clinical striker again, because Benzema is getting old. You know, that the midfield is already kind of been slowly replaced. You get another Benzema or a new hot young talent that could be the next Benzema. Real Madrid are going to be very well oiled for some years and years to come. And it goes with recruiting.
Yeah, I don't agree with you about Liverpool's need at the center back position, Nigel, because they have Konate, and injuries have been the undoing of that back line this season. And also Konate, you get Virgil van Dijk. Remember, Konate played in a World Cup final, so you can't discount his quality when fit. He was one of the players who stepped in last season to help get them to a Champions League final. So I'm saying no to a new addition in the back line. Kim, he would make any team better. He's playing sensational with Napoli, but I don't think that's the focal point for Liverpool. It is in midfield, defensive midfield. Fabinho is not up to snuff. He looked like the Fabinho of old, maybe a year ago, in the first 25 minutes. And when he was just getting out passes, winning tackles, dictating a bit of the flow, Liverpool looked back to being the Liverpool of old. As soon from him, they were chasing shadows. So number one position I address. The front three, when they're clicking, you saw glimpses of what could be moving forward between his movement, the interchange between he and Cody Gakpo. There is life there. There is potential for Liverpool, but I think the mid figured it out with new signings in the summer.
Mike, your internet, I tell you what, man, your audio and your internet makes you repeat it. You sound like, I don't know if you've ever watched the Goodfellas movie before, but you know when he says, Jimmy two times, Jimmy two times, it's absolutely fantastic, mate, when you repeat yourself. Anyway, we apologize for the technical difficulties right there, Mike. We'll obviously continue on with the show as we plan to plow through this. But yeah, great points made as well. I mean, listen, Nigel, at the end of the day, it's a great point. It's an interesting point. What about Jude Bellingham? Obviously, in midfield, you need to want to bring some energy energy, some pace. You want to bring some quality. I can't exactly say that the problem necessarily is just that defence. We've obviously witnessed a lot of mistakes today. But in midfield in particular, it seems like Liverpool do need to have that extra bit of quality, that extra bit of class. Jude would take a lot of money to get him to go there. It would be, in my opinion, over 100 for sure.
Ian, this is the point, and this is let's look at this from the bigger perspective, and this is the point I made. And again, the keyboard warrior Albert, who's not in the chat at the moment, I'm keeping an eye for him. I got smoke for him. He made fun of me saying that I said that Jude Bellingham should go to Real Madrid, and I'm a Liverpool hater. Why am I a British guy not wanting him to go there? No, it's not about that. It's the bigger picture. You look at Real Madrid, you look at the makeup of that Real Madrid side, where all these players come from. That is why other nations, like the Spanish, the French, the Portuguese, are very successful internationally. We have the first bunch of real talented young English or British players. They need to take that leap of faith to go abroad, to learn a new culture, a new style of play, and understand football from a different perspective, because it's only going to be them reaping the rewards when it comes to international tournaments. We have the least amount of players playing in foreign leagues. You're telling me that Jude Bellingham could not be in that Real Madrid side and be playing and be part of that future generation and winning things? That's what's needed. It's not about, oh, because I'm British, we need to go back to England and play. No, he's not going to gain anything. Jude Bellingham is talented. He still can't help that Liverpool side alone. There's still too many pieces meeting. That's too much responsibility for him. And you know how Jurgen Klopp likes to play. He likes to play with a structured system, too defensive. Jude Bellingham needs to be let free to be the best he can be. And I can see him being let free to be the best he can be in a Real Madrid, more so than I can see him doing that for Liverpool, because they're going to want him to have a lot more defensive responsibilities, which will take away from so much from his game. And that's why I think that there is a big rebuild. And I'm a big Klopp fan. I like Jurgen Klopp a lot. I really do. But it's just such a big rebuilding process right now at Liverpool. And anyone who watched that game with any real understanding, you can see the gulf in difference in quality of players that Liverpool and Real Madrid have.
Listen, the midfield area in Real Madrid, as you touched upon just a moment there, and Camavinga's performance today was fantastic. I mean, he is obviously one of the players who wants the ball a lot, and he's a very simple passer of the ball. He's very quick turn of pace. He's got a great vision. He's got one of these football IQs that he knows what's around him at all times. When he picks up possession of the ball, he knows where it's going before it even gets there. And it reminds me very much of the way Toni Kroos actually plays the game. And at some point, you're going to have to consider the fact we don't know what's happening with Modric in his contract, but Modric and Kroos are not going to be there for the long term. So Real Madrid investing heavily in Tchouaméni and obviously bring Camavinga in that midfield. They've already done that investment for that midfield for the future, but I don't think that we could discount the fact that it would be great for English football. It would be great for Jude Bellingham. It would be great, in my opinion, for Real Madrid if they could ever try to convince him, but it's going to take a pretty penny to be able to get him there.